Welcome to Easygolife, where we simplify digital success, explore cutting-edge tech, game-changing marketing hacks, and more, crafted to inspire and empower every generation. Let's innovate and thrive together.
Welcome to Easygolife's web development series. Whether you're just getting started or looking to sharpen your skills, you've come to the right place. In this series, we've packed in everything you need to know to build amazing websites, from the basics of HTML and CSS to advanced topics like API integration and deployment. Each video is designed to be practical and easy to follow, giving you hands-on experience with real-world examples. We've made sure that no matter where you are on your web development journey, there's something valuable here for you. By the end of this series, you'll have the knowledge and skills to create your own projects, from a simple blog to a dynamic, data-driven web app. So stick with us, because what you'll learn here could be the foundation of your next big idea. And don't miss our next video, where we'll show you how to take everything you've built and make it live on the web. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Here's a quick look at what we'll be covering in this series so far. Introduction to web development. You will get to learn, starting with the basics of web development. HTML, structuring your web pages. You'll discover how to learn how to build the foundation of your web pages. CSS, styling your websites. You'll master the skills to master the art of making your websites visually appealing. JavaScript, adding interactivity. You'll develop the ability to bring your websites to life with dynamic elements. PHP, server-side scripting for dynamic content. You'll become proficient to connect your website to a server to display dynamic content. Bootstrap, building responsive websites. We'll guide you in creating design websites that look great on any device. React, creating dynamic user interfaces. You'll become proficient in building interactive UIs with React components. Fetching and displaying data. You'll explore how to learn how to connect your site to external data sources. Deployment, making your website live. We'll help you understand how to take your website live and share it with the world. And don't miss our next video, where we'll show you how to take everything you've built and make it live on the web. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Welcome to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch. In this first video, we'll explore the exciting world of web development. Whether you're a complete beginner or brushing up on your skills, this series will guide you through creating and designing websites from the ground up. Web development is like building a digital house. Each web page is a room, and together, they form a seamless online experience. We'll start by answering, what is web development? We'll explain the difference between front-end and back-end development, helping you understand their roles. Next, we'll introduce the core technologies we'll cover. HTML, the backbone of web pages, CSS, which styles them beautifully, JavaScript, which makes them interactive, PHP, powering dynamic content, and React and Bootstrap, which streamline and enhance development. In today's digital age, web development is crucial. A well-designed website can significantly impact businesses, organizations, and individuals, creating engaging and accessible online experiences. By the end of the series, you'll have the skills and confidence to build your own websites. We'll start with the basics and gradually advance to more complex topics, ensuring you gain practical knowledge and enjoy the learning process. Let's start building your digital future, one web page at a time. Web development is the backbone of the internet. It's the process of creating websites and web applications that people use daily, from simple blogs to complex e-commerce platforms. In this section, we'll explore what web development entails, breaking down the elements that come together to build the digital experiences we rely on. Understanding the basics of web development will set the stage for our deeper dive into the tools and technologies that power the web. What is web development? Web development is the process of creating websites and web applications that people can access through the internet. It involves building and maintaining the structure, content, and functionality of these sites. Think of it as constructing a house on the internet where each web page is a room, and all the rooms are connected to form a complete home. Difference between front-end and back-end development. Web development can be broadly divided into two main areas, front-end and back-end development. Each plays a crucial role in creating a fully functional website. In this section, we'll delve into the differences between these two aspects, exploring how they work together to build seamless and dynamic web experiences. Understanding the distinction between front-end and back-end development will give you a comprehensive view of how websites operate and the various skills involved in bringing them to life. Front-end development. Front-end development is like decorating the inside of a house. It focuses on what users see and interact with on a website. This includes the layout, design, colors, fonts, buttons, and other visual elements. Front-end developers use tools like HTML to structure content, CSS to style it, and JavaScript to add interactive features. Back-end development. Back-end development is like the plumbing and electrical systems of the house. It's everything behind the scenes that makes a website work. This includes servers, databases, and applications that process and store data. Backend developers use languages like PHP to create the logic that runs a website. In this series, we will explore the key technologies that form the foundation of modern web development. Understanding these technologies is essential for building robust, interactive, and visually appealing websites. We will cover HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, the core trio for front-end development, along with PHP for back-end development. Additionally, we'll delve into React for building dynamic user interfaces and Bootstrap for creating responsive, mobile-first designs. This overview will set the stage for the skills and knowledge you'll gain throughout this series. HTML, Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is the foundation of web pages. It's used to create and organize content on a website, like text, images, and links. CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is used to style and lay out web pages. It makes your website look good by controlling the colors, fonts, spacing, and overall design. JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language that makes web pages interactive. It can be used to create things like slideshows, forms that check if you've filled them out correctly, and dynamic content that updates without refreshing the page. PHP is a server-side scripting language used to create dynamic web pages that interact with databases. It helps in building functionalities like user logins, form submissions, and content management. React is a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. It helps create interactive and dynamic web applications more efficiently. Bootstrap is a framework for building responsive and mobile-first websites. It provides pre-designed templates and components like buttons, forms, and navigation bars that you can use to speed up development. Importance of web development in today's digital world. In today's digital age, web development plays a pivotal role in connecting businesses, organizations, and individuals with a global audience. A well-crafted website is more than just an online presence. It's a powerful tool for communication, commerce, and community engagement. Understanding the importance of web development helps us appreciate how it influences our daily lives, drives innovation, and shapes the future of digital interaction. In this segment, we'll explore why web development is essential and how it impacts various aspects of our world. Web development is crucial because it allows businesses, organizations, and individuals to have an online presence. In today's digital age, having a website is essential for reaching and engaging with customers, sharing information, and providing services. A well-designed website can enhance user experience, increase accessibility, and drive success. Series goals and expectations. As we embark on this web development journey, it's important to set clear expectations and goals for the series. Whether you're a beginner looking to understand the basics or someone with some experience aiming to enhance your skills, this series is designed to provide you with practical knowledge and hands-on experience. By the end of the series, you'll be equipped with the tools and confidence to create your own websites from scratch. Let's outline what you can expect to learn and achieve as we progress through each topic and build a solid foundation in web development. At the end of this series, you'll have a solid understanding of how to create and design websites from scratch, even if you have no prior experience. We'll start with the basics and gradually build up to more advanced topics, ensuring you gain practical skills and confidence. Our goal is to make web development approachable and enjoyable, empowering you to create your own projects and potentially pursue a career in this field. In our introduction to web development video, we explored the essentials of creating and maintaining websites and web applications. We distinguished between front-end and back-end development, explaining how front-end development focuses on the visual and interactive aspects of a site, while back-end development handles the underlying systems that make the site function. We also provided an overview of key technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, React, and Bootstrap. We highlighted the importance of web development in establishing an online presence and reaching audiences effectively. Lastly, we set the stage for our series, outlining the goals and expectations for the journey ahead. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into the essential elements of web development. We'll start by exploring the basic structure of an HTML document, understanding how it forms the backbone of every web page. We'll cover the key components that make up an HTML document, including the doc type declaration, the HTML, head, and body tags, and how they all fit together to create a well-structured web page. Stay tuned to continue building your web development skills step by step. Welcome back to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch. In our first video, we introduced the exciting world of web development and gave you a glimpse into the tools and technologies we'll be exploring together. If you missed that video, be sure to check it out for a comprehensive overview. Today, we're diving straight into the foundation of web development, HTML. HTML, or Hypertext Markup Language, is the essential building block for creating web pages. Think of it as the skeleton that holds your website together, defining where every element on your page will go. Whether you're adding text, images, links, or any other content, it all starts with HTML. In this video, we'll break down the basics of HTML in a way that's easy to understand, even if you have no prior experience with coding. By the end of this session, you'll have created your very first web page and taken the first step towards becoming a web developer. Let's get started. Welcome to the core of web development, HTML. As the fundamental building block of any web page, HTML is essential for creating and organizing content on the internet. Think of it as the skeleton that gives structure to your web pages, enabling browsers to display your text, images, and links in a meaningful way. In this section, we'll explore how HTML shapes both the structure and content of a web page, setting the stage for everything you see online. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is the basic building block of web development and is used to create the structure and content of a web page. Think of HTML as the skeleton of a web page, defining where everything goes, like headings, paragraphs, images, and links. Without HTML, a web page wouldn't exist. To understand how HTML works, it's crucial to know its basic structure. Just like a well-organized building needs a solid foundation and clear layout, an HTML document has a specific structure that helps web browsers interpret and display content correctly. In this section, we'll break down the essential components of an HTML document, showing you how to set up a basic page that serves as the groundwork for all your web projects. An HTML document has a specific structure that helps browsers understand and display the content correctly. Here's a simple breakdown. When building web pages, understanding and using common HTML tags is essential. These tags are the building blocks that help you structure and format your content. Whether you're adding a heading to grab attention, inserting a paragraph to convey information, creating links for navigation, embedding images, or organizing content into lists, each tag plays a specific role. In this section, We'll explore these fundamental HTML tags, demonstrating how they help you craft well-organized and engaging web pages. Headings H1 tag to H6 tag, used to create titles and subtitles. H1 tag is the largest heading, and H6 tag is the smallest. Paragraphs P tag, used to create blocks of text. Links A tag, used to create hyperlinks that navigate to other pages or resources. Images IMG tag, used to display pictures. Lists. Unordered lists all tag, creates bullet points. Example. Ordered lists OL tag, creates numbered items. Example. Now that we've covered the basics of HTML and its key components, it's time to put that knowledge into practice. In this section, we'll walk through the process of creating a simple web page from scratch. You'll learn how to structure your HTML document, add essential elements like headings, paragraphs, links, and images, and see how these pieces come together to form a functional and visually appealing web page. This hands-on example will help you see how HTML works in action and give you a solid foundation for building your own web pages. Let's create a basic web page using HTML. Here's a simple example. Walkthrough. This example sets up a simple web page with a heading, a paragraph, a link, and an image. We start with the doctype declaration, then define the HTML document with the HTML tag. Inside the head, we set the title of the page, and inside the body, we add our content. As web development evolves, so do the tools and technologies we use. HTML5, the latest version of HTML, introduces semantic elements that help create a more meaningful and organized web page structure. These elements provide clarity and context, making web content easier to understand for both browsers and users. In this section, we'll explore these semantic elements, which not only improve the organization of your content, but also enhance accessibility and search engine optimization. Let's dive into how these new HTML5 tags can transform the way you build and structure your web pages. HTML5 introduced new elements that provide more meaning to the structure of a web page. These are called semantic elements because they clearly describe their purpose. Some common semantic elements include: header tag represents the header section of a page, typically containing a logo, navigation, or title. NAV tag defines a navigation section for links. Section tag groups related content together. Article tag represents a self-contained piece of content, like a blog post or news article. Aside tag contains content that is related to the main content but placed to the side, like a sidebar. Footer tag represents the footer of a page, typically containing contact information, copyright, or links. In this video, we explored the basics of HTML, the fundamental language for building web pages. We learned how to structure an HTML document, use common tags like headings, paragraphs, links, and images, and create a simple web page. Additionally, we briefly touched on HTML5 semantic elements, which provide more meaning to your web content. In the next video, we'll be delving into the world of CSS to learn how to make your web pages visually stunning and user-friendly. Buckle up and get ready to transform your basic HTML structures into beautiful and engaging websites. Welcome back to our Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. In our previous video, we explored the basic structure of an HTML document and laid the foundation for creating well-structured web pages. In this third installment, we're going to bring those pages to life with CSS, or cascading style sheets. While HTML gives our web pages structure, CSS allows us to add style and visual appeal, transforming plain text and simple layouts into engaging, professional websites. We'll start by understanding what CSS is and its crucial role in web design. Then, we'll delve into the basic syntax of CSS, learning how to use selectors, properties, and values to style our HTML elements effectively. Next, we'll explore the three main ways to apply CSS: inline, internal, and external, each with its own use cases and advantages. Finally, we'll get hands-on with styling text, colors, backgrounds, and borders to make our web pages truly stand out. Get ready to elevate your web design skills as we dive into the world of CSS and discover how to make your web pages visually stunning. Let's get started. To understand web design fully, we need to dive into CSS, cascading style sheets. CSS is what adds style and flair to your web pages, transforming basic HTML structures into visually engaging designs. In this section, we'll explore how CSS controls colors, fonts, layouts, and more, making your websites not only functional, but also visually appealing. Let's see how CSS can enhance your web design projects. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It is used to control the appearance of web pages. While HTML provides the structure, CSS adds style, making the web pages look attractive and visually appealing. CSS can change the colors, fonts, spacing, and layout of your HTML elements. In this section, we'll break down the fundamental components of CSS. You'll learn about selectors, properties, and values, the building blocks of styling your web pages. This foundational knowledge will help you understand how to target HTML elements and apply styles effectively, ensuring your design looks just the way you want it to. CSS is written in a simple language with a specific structure. Selectors. These select the HTML elements you want to style. For example, P selects all paragraph elements. Properties. These define what aspect of the selected elements you want to change. For example, color changes the text color. Values. These specify the new appearance you want for the property. For example, red changes the text color to red. Example. This code changes all paragraph, P, text to red, and sets the font size to 16 pixels. In this section, we'll explore the three primary methods for applying CSS to your HTML: inline, internal, and external. Each of these methods offers different advantages and is suited to various scenarios in web development. Inline CSS allows you to apply styles directly within HTML elements. This approach is useful for quick, specific styling, but can become cumbersome for larger projects. Internal CSS involves placing your styles within a style tag inside the head of your HTML document. This method centralizes styling within the HTML file, making it easier to manage multiple styles for that particular page. External CSS involves linking to a separate CSS file from your HTML document. This method is ideal for managing styles across multiple pages, promoting consistency, and reducing redundancy. Understanding these methods will help you effectively style your web pages and maintain a clean, organized codebase. There are three ways to add CSS to your HTML. Inline CSS, directly within an HTML tag using the style attribute. Example. Internal CSS, within a style tag inside the head of your HTML document. Example. External CSS, in a separate CSS file linked to your HTML document. Example. In this segment, we'll dive into the fundamentals of styling web pages with CSS. We'll cover how to enhance the appearance of your text, choose and apply colors, set backgrounds, and define borders. By mastering these basic styling techniques, you'll be able to transform your web page from plain to polished, giving it a unique look and feel. Let's explore how to bring your web design to life with CSS. Text. You can change the font, size, color, and alignment. Example. In this video, we covered the essentials of CSS, transforming your web pages with style and design. Next, we'll dive into Introduction to JavaScript, where you'll learn how to add interactivity to your site. We'll explore JavaScript basics, including how to manipulate the DOM and create dynamic features. Stay tuned to bring your web pages to life with interactive elements. See you in the next video. Welcome to the fourth installment of our Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. In our previous videos, we've laid a strong foundation with HTML and CSS, setting up the structure and style of our web pages. Now, it's time to add a new dimension to our skills, JavaScript. In this video, we'll dive into the world of JavaScript, a powerful programming language that breathes life into your web pages. JavaScript transforms static websites into dynamic, interactive experiences. From clickable buttons and interactive forms to content that changes on the fly, JavaScript is the key to engaging users and enhancing their experience on your site. We'll start by exploring what JavaScript is and how it fits into web development. Next, we'll cover its basic syntax and data types, giving you the tools to write your own scripts. You'll learn about variables, functions, and events and see how they enable your web pages to respond to user actions. Finally, we'll dive into manipulating the DOM and creating simple interactive elements that make your websites come alive. Get ready to bring your web pages to the next level with JavaScript. Let's get started. JavaScript is a powerful programming language that brings your web pages to life. While HTML and CSS lay the groundwork for structure and style, JavaScript adds the magic of interactivity. It enables you to create dynamic features such as interactive forms, animated elements, and real-time updates. In this segment, we'll uncover how JavaScript works and why it's a crucial component in modern web development, enhancing user experience and functionality. JavaScript is a programming language used to make web pages interactive. While HTML structures the content and CSS styles it, JavaScript adds behavior. It allows you to create things like clickable buttons, forms that check for errors, and dynamic content that changes without needing to reload the page. To truly harness the power of JavaScript, you need to understand its basic syntax and data types. In this segment, we'll break down the essentials of how JavaScript code is structured and explore the different types of data you'll work with. From writing simple commands to understanding how various data types like strings, numbers, and objects function, this foundation will set the stage for building dynamic and interactive web experiences. Syntax. JavaScript is written in a specific way that the computer can understand. Here's a simple example. This code shows a pop-up message saying, "Hello world." Data types. JavaScript works with different kinds of data, such as strings, text like hello, numbers, numeric values like 42, booleans, true or false values like true, arrays, lists of items like 1, 2, 3, objects, collections of properties like name John, age 30. In JavaScript, variables, functions, and events are fundamental concepts that empower you to add interactivity and dynamic features to your web pages. Here's a closer look at these essential building blocks. Variables act as containers for storing data, allowing you to manage and manipulate values throughout your code. Functions are reusable blocks of code designed to perform specific tasks, enabling you to execute operations with just a function call. Events are actions that occur in the browser, such as clicks or key presses, which can trigger JavaScript to perform various responses and updates on your web page. Understanding these elements will help you create more interactive and responsive web applications. Variables. Containers for storing data. Example. Here, name is a variable that holds the value John. Blocks of code designed to perform a particular task. Example. This code defines a function named greet that shows a pop-up message saying hello and then calls the function to execute it. Actions that occur in the browser, like clicks, key presses, or page loads. You can use JavaScript to respond to these events. Example. This code shows a message when a button with the ID My Button is clicked. In this segment, we'll delve into the document object model, DOM, and explore how JavaScript can interact with and modify it. The DOM represents the structure of your web page as a tree of objects, where each node corresponds to an HTML element or attribute. By manipulating the DOM, you can dynamically change the content, structure, and style of your web pages in real time. We'll cover essential techniques for selecting, updating, and removing elements, providing you with the tools to create dynamic and interactive web experiences. The DOM is a representation of the HTML structure of your web page. JavaScript can change the structure and content. Example. This code finds an HTML element with the ID MyText and changes its content to new text. Creating simple interactive elements in your web application is key to enhancing user experience. These elements, like buttons, forms, and sliders, allow users to engage directly with your content. By using basic JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, you can craft interactive components that respond to user actions, making your web pages more dynamic and user-friendly. This step is fundamental in building a more engaging and interactive user interface. With JavaScript, you can make your web pages interactive. Change text on button click. Example: when the button is clicked, the text of the paragraph changes. Show, hide content. Example: this code shows or hides content when the button is clicked. We're diving into writing code using Visual Studio Code. I've already prepared the code for you, and I'll be walking you through it step by step. I assume you're already familiar with the basics of coding, so let's jump right in. As you can see, I've just pasted the code here. This is a good time to review everything line by line. It's important to make sure that the syntax is correct and that no errors are highlighted. I'm now scrolling through the code, keeping an eye out for any red lines. These red lines indicate errors, and we want to make sure there are none before we move on. This step is crucial because even a small typo can cause the entire script to fail. Great. The code looks perfect, no errors in sight. That means we're ready to see it in action. Now let's switch over to the browser and run this page. This is where all the magic happens. By calling this page, we'll execute all the code we've discussed, one step at a time, and see the output live. And there you have it. Our code is running smoothly, without any issues. This is the final step in the coding process, where we see all our hard work come to life. Remember, always double-check your code for errors before execution. It saves a lot of time and hassle in the long run. In the Introduction to JavaScript series, we've covered the basics of JavaScript, including how to use variables, functions, and events to create dynamic web pages. We also explored manipulating the DOM to change content and structure and built simple interactive elements like clickable buttons and toggleable content. These fundamentals set the stage for more advanced JavaScript topics ahead. In our next video, we'll put everything we've learned into practice by building a basic web page. We'll combine HTML and CSS to create a simple, yet functional, web page from scratch. You'll see how to apply styling, layout techniques, and structure to make your web page come alive. This hands-on approach will solidify your understanding and set you up for more advanced topics. Don't miss it as we start building your first complete web page.
Welcome to the fifth installment of our Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. So far, we've explored the building blocks of web development, HTML for structure and CSS for style. Now, we are going to bring it all together and create something truly functional, a basic web page. In this video, we'll guide you through the process of combining HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build a simple, yet fully operational, web page. Think of it like constructing a house. HTML lays the foundation and walls, CSS adds the paint and decor, and JavaScript brings the house to life with smart features like lights that turn on when you enter a room. We'll begin by setting up the structure with HTML, creating essential elements like headings, paragraphs, and links. Then, we'll apply CSS to make everything look polished and professional. Finally, we'll add interactivity with JavaScript, enabling dynamic features that respond to user actions, such as buttons that trigger alerts or content that reveals itself with a click. As we go through this process, we'll also focus on best practices for organizing your code so it's clean, efficient, and easy to manage. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete, functioning web page and the knowledge to build more complex sites in the future. So, let's dive in and start building. To create a fully functional web page, you need to combine the power of three core technologies: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML provides the structure, CSS adds the visual style, and JavaScript introduces interactivity. By bringing these elements together, you can build a web page that is not only visually appealing but also responsive and engaging for users. In this section, we'll explore how to integrate these three technologies to create a simple, yet effective, web page. To build a web page, you'll use HTML for structure, CSS for styling, and JavaScript for interactivity. Imagine building a house. HTML is the foundation and walls, CSS is the paint and decorations, and JavaScript is the smart home features like lights that turn on automatically. Combining all three lets you create a complete and functional web page. HTML is the backbone of every web page, providing the essential structure that defines the layout and content. Whether you're creating headings, paragraphs, or links, HTML tags are what turn your ideas into a visible, organized format on the web. HTML provides the basic framework of your web page. You use HTML tags to create elements like headings, paragraphs, links, and images. Once your web page's structure is in place, it's time to make it visually appealing with CSS. CSS allows you to control the appearance of your content, from colors and fonts to layout and spacing, transforming a plain structure into a polished and engaging design. CSS is used to make your web page look nice. You can change colors, fonts, sizes, and layouts. For example, this CSS changes the background color of the page, the color of the heading, and the color of the paragraphs. With your web page structured and styled, it's time to add a layer of interactivity using JavaScript. JavaScript breathes life into your site, allowing users to interact with elements like buttons and forms, and creating dynamic features that respond to their actions. From simple pop-ups to more complex interactions, JavaScript makes your web page more engaging and user-friendly. JavaScript lets you add interactive features to your web page. For example, you can create a button that shows an alert when clicked. When the button is clicked, it will display a message. As you build more complex web pages, organizing your code becomes crucial for maintainability and efficiency. Adopting best practices in code organization helps ensure your projects are easier to read, debug, and update. In this section, we'll explore effective strategies for structuring your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, including separating files, using comments, and maintaining consistent naming conventions. Implementing these practices will streamline your workflow and set you up for success as you tackle more advanced web development projects. Keeping your code organized makes it easier to manage and understand. Here are some tips. Separate files. Keep HTML, CSS, and JavaScript in separate files. For example, index.html, styles.css, and script.js. This helps in maintaining and updating your code. Use comments. Add comments in your code to explain what different sections do. For example, consistent naming. Use clear and consistent names for your classes, IDs, and functions. For example, name a class main header rather than just .header. Indentation. Properly indent your code to make it easier to read. By combining these elements, HTML for structure, CSS for style, and JavaScript for interaction, you can build a basic web page. Organizing your code well will help you as you create more complex web pages in the future. In this video, we have covered the essentials of creating and styling a web page. We began with the fundamental HTML structure, learning how to use basic tags and elements. Next, we delved into CSS, exploring various ways to style our web page, including inline, internal, and external styles. We also introduced JavaScript, focusing on syntax, variables, functions, and handling events to make our page interactive. Additionally, we demonstrated how to manipulate the DOM to update content dynamically. In the next video, Introduction to PHP, we'll dive into the basics of PHP, a powerful server-side scripting language used to create dynamic web content. We'll start by exploring what PHP is and how it fits into web development. You'll learn how to embed PHP code into HTML, work with variables, and understand the basics of PHP syntax. We'll also cover how to handle forms, work with server-side logic, and interact with databases. By the end of this video, you'll have a solid foundation in PHP and be ready to start building dynamic, data-driven websites. Don't miss out on this essential step in mastering web development.
Welcome back to our Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. In our previous videos, we built a solid foundation by creating basic web pages using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We've explored how to structure content, apply styles, and add interactivity to our web pages, transforming static designs into dynamic user experiences. Now, it's time to take our web development skills to the next level by introducing a powerful tool for creating dynamic, data-driven websites, PHP. This sixth installment, Introduction to PHP, will open the door to server-side programming, enabling you to build web applications that respond to user inputs, interact with databases, and deliver personalized content. In this video, we'll explore what PHP is and how it plays a critical role in modern web development. We'll guide you through setting up your local development environment using tools like XAMPP, WAMP, or MAMP so you can run and test PHP scripts on your own machine. You'll learn the basic syntax of PHP, including how to work with variables, loops, and conditional statements, and by the end of this video, you'll be equipped to create your first simple PHP script. Get ready to add a powerful new tool to your web development toolkit as we dive into the world of PHP. Let's get started. Welcome to our introduction to PHP, a key player in dynamic web development. Unlike static HTML, PHP enables your web pages to interact with users and adjust content in real time. In this section, we'll explore what PHP is, how it works behind the scenes, and why it's crucial for creating interactive and personalized web experiences. Let's dive in. PHP, Hypertext Preprocessor, is a server-side scripting language used to create dynamic web pages. Unlike HTML, which is static, PHP allows you to create web pages that can change based on user input, database interactions, or other factors. For example, PHP can be used to build login systems, handle forms, or display personalized content. Setting up a local development environment is essential for working with PHP on your own computer. Tools like XAMPP, WAMP, and MAMP provide everything you need to run PHP scripts, including a web server, a database, and PHP itself. In this section, we'll walk you through the setup process, so you can start developing and testing your PHP projects locally before deploying them online. Let's get started. To run PHP on your computer, you need a local development environment. Tools like XAMPP, WAMP, or MAMP provide a package that includes a web server, like Apache, a database server, like MySQL, and PHP. This allows you to run and test PHP scripts on your own machine before uploading them to a live web server. XAMPP works on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. WAMP, designed for Windows. MAMP, designed for Mac OS. Understanding the basic syntax of PHP is crucial for writing effective PHP code. PHP scripts are embedded within HTML using special tags, and learning these foundational elements will allow you to create dynamic and interactive web pages. In this section, we'll cover the essential PHP syntax, including how to write simple commands, use variables, and output content to the web page. Let's dive into the basics of PHP syntax. PHP code is embedded within HTML using special tags PHP. Here's an example of PHP syntax. In this example, the echo statement outputs "Hello, world" to the web page. PHP code ends with a semicolon. Variables, loops, and conditional statements are fundamental components of PHP that allow you to create dynamic and responsive web applications. Variables let you store and manipulate data, Loops enable you to perform repetitive tasks efficiently, and conditional statements help you make decisions based on different conditions. In this section, we'll explore how to use these key programming constructs in PHP to add functionality and logic to your web scripts. Let's dive into how these elements work and how you can apply them in your PHP projects. Just like in other programming languages, PHP has variables to store data, loops to repeat actions, and conditional statements to make decisions. Variables, used to store data. Here, $name is a variable storing the string Alice. Loops, used to repeat actions. This loop prints numbers 0 to 4. Conditional statements, used to make decisions. This checks if $age is 18 or more and prints a message accordingly. Creating a simple PHP script is a great way to see PHP in action and understand how it interacts with user input. In this section, we'll walk through the process of building a basic PHP script that handles form data and generates dynamic content. By learning how to collect user input, process it, and display results, you'll gain a hands-on understanding of PHP's capabilities. Let's get started with crafting your first functional PHP script and see how easy it is to bring interactivity to your web pages. To see PHP in action, let's create a simple script that takes user input from a form and displays it back to the user. HTML form. This form collects a name and sends it to a PHP script, process.php, for processing. PHP script, process.php. This script receives the name from the form, stores it in a variable, and prints a greeting. By understanding these key points, you'll be able to start using PHP to add dynamic functionality to your web pages. With PHP, you can create more interactive and personalized user experiences on your website. We're diving into writing code using Visual Studio Code. I've already prepared the code for you, and I'll be walking you through it step by step. I assume you're already familiar with the basics of coding, so let's jump right in. As you can see, I've just pasted the code here. This is a good time to review everything line by line. It's important to make sure that the syntax is correct and that no errors are highlighted. I'm now scrolling through the code, keeping an eye out for any red lines. These red lines indicate errors, and we want to make sure there are none before we move on. This step is crucial because even a small typo can cause the entire script to fail.
Great.
The code looks perfect, no errors in sight. That means we're ready to see it in action. Now, let's switch over to the browser and run this page. This is where all the magic happens. By calling this page, we'll execute all the code we've discussed, one step at a time, and see the output live. And there you have it. Our code is running smoothly, without any issues. This is the final step in the coding process, where we see all our hard work come to life. Remember, always double-check your code for errors before execution. It saves a lot of time and hassle in the long run. As we wrap up this video on Introduction to PHP, you've learned how PHP can transform static web pages into dynamic, interactive experiences. We covered the basics of PHP, from setting up your local development environment to writing your first PHP script. In our next video, we'll dive into connecting PHP with HTML. We'll explore how to seamlessly integrate PHP with HTML to create dynamic content and interactive web pages. You'll learn how to handle form data, generate HTML dynamically, and effectively combine PHP and HTML. Stay tuned to take your web development skills to the next level. Welcome back to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch. If you've been following along, we've already laid the foundation in the first 6 videos. Today, we're stepping into the 7th chapter, connecting PHP with HTML. This is where the magic of dynamic web development truly begins. By the end of this video, you'll have the power to transform static web pages into interactive experiences. We'll explore how to seamlessly embed PHP into HTML, handle user-submitted data with ease, create dynamic content that adapts in real time, and even take your first steps in integrating databases with your web projects. Whether you're building a simple contact form or a complex data-driven site, this knowledge is key to unlocking the full potential of your web development skills. Let's dive in and see how PHP and HTML together can bring your web pages to life. Now that we've covered the basics of HTML, it's time to take things to the next level by introducing PHP into the mix. Embedding PHP within HTML allows us to create web pages that aren't just static, but dynamic and responsive to user input. With PHP, you can execute server-side code that generates HTML on the fly, making your pages more interactive and versatile. In this section, we'll show you how to seamlessly integrate PHP into your existing HTML structure, so you can start building web pages that respond to your users in real time. Let's dive into the world of dynamic web development with PHP embedded directly in your HTML. PHP can be inserted directly into HTML code to create dynamic web pages. When a user visits a PHP page, the server processes the PHP code and sends the resulting HTML to the user's browser. For example, in this example, PHP is used to create a greeting message within an HTML paragraph. When building interactive web applications, handling form data efficiently is crucial. PHP excels in this area by processing data submitted through forms, allowing you to capture and utilize user input seamlessly. This section explores how PHP can manage and process form data, enabling dynamic responses based on user interactions. We'll walk through how to collect form inputs, validate them, and display results, demonstrating PHP's role in turning user actions into meaningful content on your website. PHP is commonly used to process form data submitted by users. When a user fills out a form and clicks Submit, the form data is sent to a PHP script for processing. HTML form. This form collects a name and sends it to Submit PHP. PHP script, Submit PHP. This script retrieves the name from the form, stores it in a variable, and displays a greeting. To build engaging and interactive websites, creating dynamic content is essential. With PHP, you can generate content that updates automatically based on user actions, time, or other variables. This flexibility allows your web pages to offer a more personalized and responsive experience, making them feel more alive and relevant to each user. Whether it's displaying the current date, updating content without a page refresh, or adjusting based on user input, PHP's ability to create dynamic content is a powerful tool for modern web development. Dynamic content means the content of your web page can change based on user input or other factors. PHP can generate content that updates automatically. In this example, PHP is used to display the current date, which updates each time the page is loaded. In this segment, we're diving into the basics of MySQL and how it integrates seamlessly with PHP. Databases are the backbone of dynamic web applications, allowing us to store, retrieve, and manage data efficiently. MySQL, a powerful and widely used database management system, pairs perfectly with PHP to create robust, data-driven websites. Whether you're looking to connect your site to a database, execute queries, or manage user information, understanding MySQL integration is a crucial skill for any web developer. Let's explore how PHP and MySQL work together to bring your web applications to life. MySQL is a popular database management system that stores data for your web applications. PHP can interact with MySQL to retrieve, insert, and manage data. Connecting to MySQL. This PHP code connects to a MySQL database named test using the 𝐸 extension. Querying the database. This script queries the user's table and displays each record. By understanding these points, you'll be able to combine HTML and PHP to build more interactive and data-driven web pages. This integration allows you to create dynamic content and manage data efficiently. We're diving into writing code using Visual Studio Code. I've already prepared the code for you, and I'll be walking you through it step by step. I assume you're already familiar with the basics of coding, so let's jump right in. As you can see, I've just pasted the code here. This is a good time to review everything line by line. It's important to make sure that the syntax is correct and that no errors are highlighted. In this first output, instead of just displaying a static message, we can use PHP to dynamically generate content, like greeting the user with a personalized "Welcome to my website" message. This integration allows us to build more interactive and responsive web pages. I'm now scrolling through the code, keeping an eye out for any red lines. These red lines indicate errors, and we want to make sure there are none before we move on. This step is crucial because even a small typo can cause the entire script to fail. This is the given code, where PHP is used to process form data submitted by users. When a user fills out the form and clicks Submit, the data is sent to a PHP script for processing. Now, let's see how the output will look based on this code. In this second output, we see how PHP is commonly utilized to handle form data submitted by users. When a user fills out a form and hits Submit, the data is sent to a PHP script for processing. This allows us to capture and manage user inputs, enabling features like user registration, login, and more dynamic interactions on our website. This is the given code where the content of your web page can change based on user input or other factors. PHP can generate content that updates automatically. Now, let's check out the output of this code. In this third output, PHP is used to display the current date, which updates each time the page is loaded. In this code, we're diving into database management for your web applications. It shows how PHP interacts with a MySQL database to perform essential tasks like retrieving, inserting, and managing data. This connection between PHP and MySQL is a powerful feature, enabling dynamic and data-driven websites. Whether you're storing user information, managing content, or handling transactions, PHP's ability to work seamlessly with MySQL ensures that your data is efficiently managed and easily accessible. Now, let's explore how this code operates to handle these crucial database operations. In this final output, the PHP code demonstrates how to connect to a MySQL database named test using the 𝐼𝐧𝐭𝐫𝐴 extension. The script then queries the user's table and displays each record, allowing us to retrieve and present data stored in the database directly on our web page. And there you have it. Our code is running smoothly, without any issues. This is the final step in the coding process, where we see all our hard work come to life. Remember, always double-check your code for errors before execution. It saves a lot of time and hassle in the long run. In today's video, we delved into the essentials of connecting PHP with HTML to enhance web development. We began by learning how to embed PHP within HTML to create dynamic and interactive web pages. This integration allows us to generate HTML content dynamically based on server-side processing. Next, we explored how PHP handles form data, enabling us to capture and process user-submitted information effectively. We covered creating dynamic content that updates in real time, such as displaying the current date, which enhances user engagement. Finally, we introduced the basics of MySQL and its integration with PHP, focusing on how to connect to a MySQL database and execute queries to manage data. With this knowledge, you'll be equipped to build more interactive and data-driven websites. In the upcoming video, Introduction to Bootstrap, we will explore how to use Bootstrap to create responsive, mobile-first websites. We'll cover how to set up Bootstrap, understand its grid system, utilize pre-built components, and customize styles. This will enable you to enhance your web development projects with a modern and responsive design framework. Welcome to the 8th installment of our Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. So far, we've built a solid foundation with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. Now, it's time to elevate your web design skills even further. In this video, we're diving into Bootstrap, a powerful framework that will supercharge your web development process. Bootstrap is your go-to toolkit for creating stunning, responsive websites quickly and efficiently. It comes packed with pre-designed components and styles that ensure your site looks polished and functions seamlessly across all devices. We'll start by understanding what Bootstrap is and why it's a game changer for web development. Then, we'll walk you through setting it up in your project, whether by using a CDN or downloading the files. You'll learn how to utilize Bootstrap's core components, like buttons, forms, and navigation bars, and see how the grid system can help you build responsive layouts with ease. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to start building beautiful, responsive websites that look great on any screen. Let's get started with Bootstrap and take your web development skills to the next level. Bootstrap is a popular front-end framework that simplifies the process of designing and developing websites. It provides a collection of pre-styled components and tools that help you create visually appealing and responsive web pages quickly. Bootstrap's role in web development is to streamline design and development tasks, allowing you to focus more on functionality and user experience while benefiting from a cohesive, well-designed framework. Whether you're building a simple blog or a complex web application, Bootstrap offers ready-to-use elements and a responsive grid system that adapt to various screen sizes, making your site look great on any device. Bootstrap is a popular framework that helps developers build websites quickly and easily. It provides pre-made designs and styles for common web elements like buttons, forms, and navigation bars. Think of it as a toolkit that saves you time by offering ready-to-use components and styles that make your website look good and work well on different devices. To start using Bootstrap in your project, you first need to set it up correctly. Bootstrap can be integrated in a couple of ways, either by linking to its files via a Content Delivery Network, CDN, or by downloading and including the files directly in your project. Setting up Bootstrap ensures you have access to its powerful features and design components, making it easier to build responsive and stylish web pages. In this section, we'll walk you through the steps to get Bootstrap up and running, so you can leverage its tools to enhance your website's design and functionality. To use Bootstrap, you need to include its files in your project. There are two main ways to do this. Via CDN, Content Delivery Network, simply add a link to Bootstrap CSS and JavaScript files in your HTML head section. Download Bootstrap files. You can also download Bootstrap files and add them to your project directory. Then, link to them in your HTML file similarly to the CDN method. Once Bootstrap is set up in your project, you can start utilizing its pre-designed components to enhance your website. Bootstrap offers a range of basic yet powerful elements such as buttons, forms, and navigation bars that come with built-in styles and functionalities. These components are designed to help you create a polished and user-friendly interface quickly. In this section, we'll explore how to use Bootstrap's basic components to streamline your web development process and achieve a professional look with minimal effort. Bootstrap provides a variety of pre-styled components to use in your web design. Buttons. Bootstrap offers several styles for buttons like primary, secondary, and danger. Forms. Bootstrap makes forms look clean and organized with built-in styles. Navigation bars. Bootstrap provides a flexible navigation bar that adjusts to different screen sizes. With Bootstrap, creating responsive layouts is easier than ever thanks to its robust grid system. The grid system allows you to design web pages that adapt seamlessly to different screen sizes and devices. By using a series of rows and columns, you can organize content in a flexible and responsive way. In this section, we'll dive into how to leverage Bootstrap's grid system to build layouts that look great on any device, ensuring your website provides an optimal viewing experience for all users. The Bootstrap grid system helps you create layouts that look good on all screen sizes. It uses a series of rows and columns to arrange content. For example, this code creates a layout with 3 columns that stack vertically on smaller screens and display side by side on larger screens. Combining Bootstrap's powerful grid system with its versatile components allows you to quickly create responsive layouts that look polished on any device. In this segment, we'll explore how to build a simple yet effective web page layout, including a header, content area, and footer. By applying Bootstrap's tools, You'll learn how to ensure your design adapts fluidly to various screen sizes, making your website both functional and visually appealing. By combining Bootstrap's grid system and components, you can easily build a responsive layout. For instance, you can create a simple web page with a header, content, and footer that adjusts based on the device. This layout will adjust the content area and sidebar to fit nicely on various screen sizes. With these basics of Bootstrap, you can start creating attractive, responsive websites without needing to design everything from scratch. Bootstrap's pre-made components and grid systems streamline the web design process and help ensure your site looks great on all devices. That concludes our introduction to Bootstrap. You've learned how to utilize this framework to create stylish, responsive web pages with ease. From setting up Bootstrap to using its built-in components and grid system, you now have the tools to enhance your web development projects efficiently. In our next video, we'll be diving into Introduction to React, where we'll explore this powerful JavaScript library for building dynamic user interfaces. Get ready to learn how React can revolutionize your web development approach by breaking down complex UIs into manageable components. See you in the next video as we continue our journey into modern web development. Welcome back to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch. In our previous video, we explored how Bootstrap can streamline the design of responsive, visually appealing websites. Today, we're diving into the world of React, a powerful JavaScript library that's revolutionizing how we build interactive web applications. React, developed by Facebook, is a game-changer for modern web development. It simplifies the process of creating dynamic user interfaces by breaking down complex designs into manageable, reusable components. Whether you're building a sleek new feature or an entire application, React's efficient rendering and state management will help you craft seamless and engaging user experiences. In this video, we'll cover the essentials of React, from setting up your first project to understanding its core concepts like components, JSX, and state management. You'll learn how to create and manage React components, use props to pass data, and handle dynamic content with state. By the end of this video, you'll have the foundational skills to start building interactive web applications with React. Let's get started and unlock the potential of React in your web development journey. React is a popular JavaScript library developed by Facebook for creating interactive and dynamic user interfaces. It simplifies the process of building complex web applications by breaking down the UI into reusable components. Each component manages its own state and updates efficiently when data changes, which enhances performance and maintainability. By using React, developers can build fast, responsive, and scalable applications with a more streamlined approach, making it a key tool in modern web development. React is a JavaScript library created by Facebook for building user interfaces. It helps developers create interactive and dynamic web applications. Think of React as a toolkit that makes it easier to build parts of a website, like buttons, forms, and other elements, and update them efficiently when data changes. React helps manage these elements in a way that is fast and easy to maintain. Getting started with React has never been easier thanks to Create React App, a powerful tool that streamlines the setup process. Create React App is a command-line utility that initializes a new React project with a well-organized structure and all the necessary configurations, allowing you to focus on coding rather than setup. In this segment, we'll walk you through the steps to set up your React development environment, so you can jump straight into building your application with a ready-to-go project. To start using React, you can use a tool called Create React App that sets up everything you need for a React project with just a few commands. Here's how. Step 1. Open your terminal or command prompt. Step 2. Run the command npx create react app myapp. Replace myapp with your project name. This command creates a new folder with all the files and settings needed for a React project. Step 3. Navigate into your project folder with cd myapp and start the development server using npm start. This will open your new React application in your web browser. At the heart of React lies the concept of components and JSX. Components are the building blocks of a React application, allowing you to break down your UI into reusable pieces. JSX, on the other hand, is a syntax extension that looks similar to HTML but is used to write components in JavaScript. Together, they form the foundation of how you build and structure your React applications. In this section, we'll dive into what components and JSX are, how they work, and how they can be used to create dynamic and interactive user interfaces. In React, a component is a reusable piece of code that represents part of the user interface. Components can be as small as a button or as large as a whole page. JSX, JavaScript XML, is a syntax used in React that looks like HTML but is actually a way to write components in JavaScript. For example, this is a simple React component that displays "Hello, world" on the page. In React, managing data flow and user interactions is crucial for building dynamic applications. This is where props and state come into play. Props allow you to pass data from one component to another, enabling you to build modular and reusable components. State, on the other hand, helps you track and manage data that changes over time within a component. Understanding how to effectively use props and state will empower you to create responsive and interactive web applications. Let's explore how these concepts work and how you can use them to manage your app's data and behavior. Props and state are two important concepts in React. Props, short for properties, are used to pass data from one component to another. For example, if you have a component that displays a user's name, you can pass that name as a prop. When you use this component, you can pass a name like this: state. State is used to keep track of data that changes over time within a component. For example, if you want a button to keep track of how many times it's clicked, you use state. Here, useState is a React hook that initializes the count to 0 and updates it each time the button is clicked. Building with React begins with understanding how to create and use components. Components are the building blocks of React applications, allowing you to encapsulate and manage different parts of your UI. In this section, we'll walk through the process of creating a basic React component. You'll learn how to define a component, structure it with JSX, and make it part of your React application. By mastering this fundamental skill, you'll be able to craft reusable and maintainable pieces of your web interface efficiently. To create a React component, you define a function that returns JSX. Here's a simple example. This component displays a heading and a paragraph. You can use it in your React application by importing and including it in other components. With these basics, you're ready to start building interactive web applications using React. Understanding components, JSX, props, and state management will help you create dynamic and responsive user interfaces. Congratulations on completing our introduction to React. You've learned the essentials of this powerful JavaScript library, from its role in web development to setting up your first project, understanding components, and managing state. React's component-based architecture is a game-changer for building dynamic and responsive user interfaces. In our next video, Video 10, we'll dive deeper into React by building a simple React application from scratch. You'll put your newfound knowledge into practice and see how all the pieces come together to create a functional and interactive web app. Don't miss it. This hands-on project will be a great way to solidify your understanding and see React in action. See you there. Welcome back to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch. We've made great progress with React in our previous video, and today, we're diving into something exciting. In this 10th installment, we'll put everything we've learned into action by building a simple React application. In this video, you'll discover how to combine React components to create a functional app, manage state and props to make your app interactive, and handle user inputs and events to enhance usability. We'll also cover best practices for organizing your React project to keep things clean and scalable. Whether you're looking to build a to-do list, a weather app, or something entirely your own, this video will provide you with the essential tools and techniques to get started. So, grab your coding gear, and let's bring your React application to life. When building a React application, the power of components shines through in how you can combine them to create a cohesive and functional app. Combining components to build a simple React app is all about leveraging React's modular approach to development. Each component serves as a building block, encapsulating its own functionality and style. By breaking your app into smaller, reusable pieces, you can manage and scale your project more effectively. In this segment, we'll explore how to create individual components, such as a header, task list, and task item, and seamlessly integrate them to form a complete application. You'll learn how to define these components, import them into a central file, and compose them to deliver a polished and interactive user experience. Let's dive in and see how these components work together to build a robust React app. In React, you can create small, reusable pieces called components and then combine them to build your entire app. For example, if you're making a to-do list app, you might have a header component, a task list component, and a task item component. Step by step. Create components. Define each component in its own file. Combine them. Import these components into a main file, like app.js, and use them together. For instance, you might include the header component at the top of your app and the task list component below it. In React, managing state and props is crucial for creating dynamic and interactive applications. State and props are foundational concepts that enable your app to handle data and respond to user actions effectively. State allows your components to track and manage data that changes over time, such as user input or the status of a to-do item. Props, on the other hand, enable you to pass data between components, allowing them to communicate and share information seamlessly. In this section, we'll delve into how to use state to keep track of changing data and how to utilize props to pass information between components. By mastering these concepts, you'll be able to create responsive and engaging user interfaces that adapt to user interactions and data changes. Let's explore how state and props work together to bring your React application to life. State and props are essential for making your app interactive and dynamic. State. Use state to keep track of data that changes over time. For example, in a to-do app, you might use state to keep track of the list of tasks. Props. Use props to pass data from one component to another. For example, you might pass a list of tasks from a parent component to a child component that displays the tasks. Example, in the task list component, you could receive a list of tasks as a prop and then map through it to display each task. In React, handling user input and events is key to creating interactive and responsive applications. User input, such as clicks, typing, and form submissions, drives the dynamic behavior of your app. React makes it straightforward to capture and respond to these interactions using event handlers. Event handlers are functions that are triggered by user actions, allowing you to update state, modify the user interface, and manage data flows. For instance, you can use an event handler to add items to a list when a button is clicked or update a form field as users type. In this section, we'll explore how to effectively handle user input and events in React. We'll cover how to set up event handlers, manage user interactions, and ensure your app responds smoothly and efficiently. Let's dive into the essentials of making your React application interactive and engaging. React allows you to respond to user actions like clicks, typing, and form submissions. Events. Use event handlers to respond to user actions. For example, you can add an on-click event to a button that adds a new task to the list. Here, clicking the button adds a new task to the list. When building a React application, adhering to best practices for organizing your React project is crucial for maintaining a clean, scalable, and manageable codebase. As your project grows, a well-organized structure not only improves readability, but also makes it easier to collaborate with others and extend your application over time. In this section, we'll cover effective strategies for organizing your React project, including best practices for folder structure, component naming, and the separation of concerns. By following these guidelines, you'll ensure that your code remains modular, reusable, and maintainable, setting a strong foundation for future development and collaboration. Let's dive into how to set up your project for success and streamline your development workflow. Keeping your React project organized makes it easier to manage and scale. Folder structure. Organize your files into folders based on their type. For example, keep all your components in a components folder and styles in a styles folder. Component naming. Use descriptive names for your components that reflect their purpose. For example, task list is a better name than list. Separation of concerns. Keep your logic, e.g., fetching data, managing state, separate from your presentation, e.g., rendering HTML. This makes your code easier to understand and maintain. By following these key points, you'll be able to build a simple yet functional React application. Combining components, managing state and props, handling user inputs, and organizing your project properly will help you create a robust and maintainable app. Thank you for joining us on this journey through building a simple React application. We've covered how to combine components, manage state and props, handle user input, and organize your React project effectively. These skills are fundamental for creating a robust and maintainable React app, setting you up for success as you build more complex applications. In our next video, integrating APIs into your web application, we'll explore how to connect your React app with external services and data sources. You'll learn how to fetch and use data from APIs to enhance your application's functionality and provide dynamic content to your users. Stay tuned, and let's continue building powerful web applications together. Welcome back to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch. In our last video, we built a simple React application, laying down the foundation for dynamic web development. Today, in the 11th installment, we're taking it a step further by integrating APIs into your web application. APIs are powerful tools that allow your app to communicate with external services, bringing real-time data and new functionality right to your users. Whether it's fetching the latest weather updates or embedding a map, APIs can unlock a world of possibilities. Let's dive in and see how you can seamlessly incorporate these into your projects. APIs, or Application Programming Interfaces, are essential tools in modern web development, acting as connectors that allow different software applications to communicate. They enable developers to integrate external services and data, like real-time weather updates or payment processing, directly into websites without building these features from scratch. By using APIs, developers can enhance functionality, save time, and create more dynamic, interactive web applications. Understanding APIs is key to expanding what your web projects can do. APIs, Application Programming Interfaces, are like a middleman that lets different software applications talk to each other. For example, if you want to show the latest weather on your website, you can use a weather API to fetch that data. APIs make it easy to add features to your website by letting you get information or services from other applications without having to create them yourself. In this segment, we'll cover how to fetch data from an external API using JavaScript and React. You'll learn how to use JavaScript's fetch function to get data from an API and display it on your website. In React, we'll explore how to use the useEffect hook to fetch data when your component loads and useState to store and display that data. This process will help you integrate dynamic content into your applications efficiently. To get data from an API, you need to send a request to it, and then handle the response. In JavaScript and React, you can use built-in functions or libraries to do this. In JavaScript, you use the fetch function to make a request to the API. In React, you use the useEffect hook to fetch data when your component loads and the useState hook to store the data. Once you've successfully fetched data from an API, the next step is to display this information on your web page. This involves transforming the raw data into a user-friendly format that integrates seamlessly with your site's design. In React, you can achieve this by leveraging JSX to render dynamic content based on the data you've received. Let's dive into how you can take the data fetched from an API and present it effectively to your users. Once you have the data from the API, you need to show it on your web page. In React, You can use the data stored in state and display it using JSX, JavaScript XML. Example. In web development, it's crucial to manage how your application responds when fetching data from an API. As you fetch data, you need to account for scenarios where the data is still loading or if something goes wrong during the process. This ensures a smooth and user-friendly experience. In this section, we'll explore how to effectively handle loading states and errors in your application to keep users informed and manage unexpected issues gracefully. When you fetch data from an API, things might not always go as planned. You need to handle cases where the data is still loading or if there is an error fetching it. Handling loading state. Show a message like loading while the data is being fetched. Handling errors. Show an error message if something goes wrong, like a network issue. Example. By following these points, you'll be able to integrate APIs into your web applications effectively, handle different states like loading and errors, and display the fetched data to your users. In this video, we've explored the essentials of integrating APIs into your web application. We started by understanding what APIs are and their crucial role in enabling communication between different software systems. We then delved into fetching data from an external API using both JavaScript and React, showing how to handle and utilize that data effectively. Next, we covered how to display this API data on your web page using React, and how to manage different states like loading and errors to ensure a smooth user experience. In our next video, Video 12, Deploying Your Website, we'll guide you through the process of deploying your web application to a live server. This includes choosing a hosting provider and setting up your domain, so stay tuned to learn how to bring your web project to the public. Welcome back to our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. In our previous video, we explored the powerful world of APIs, learning how to integrate external data into your web applications. Now, it's time to bring everything together and take your website live. In this 12th and final installment, we'll guide you through the crucial steps of deploying your website, making it accessible to the world. Whether you're hosting a simple static site or a dynamic web application, this video will equip you with the knowledge to get your project online and running smoothly. From understanding web hosting and domain registration to deploying your website with popular hosting providers, we'll cover everything you need to know to make your website live. So, let's dive in and take your website from development to deployment, turning your hard work into a fully functional live website. Before you can launch your website for the world to see, it's essential to understand two key concepts: web hosting and domain registration. These are the foundational elements that make your website accessible on the internet. In this section, we'll break down what web hosting and domain registration are, why they're important, and how they work together to bring your website online. Whether you're new to these terms or need a refresher, this introduction will set the stage for successfully deploying your website. Web hosting. Think of web hosting as renting space on the internet where your website files live. It's like having a piece of land on which to build your website. When someone wants to visit your site, they use this space to access your files and view your website. Domain registration. This is like buying a unique address URL for your website, such as www.example.com. It's what people type into their browsers to find your website. Domain registration makes sure your website has a unique and memorable address on the internet. Choosing the right hosting provider is a critical step in deploying your website. With so many options available, it can be overwhelming to decide which one best suits your needs. In this section, we'll introduce you to some of the most popular hosting providers in the industry. Whether you're hosting a simple static site or a more complex dynamic application, we'll cover providers that offer a range of features, performance, and ease of use. This overview will help you make an informed decision when selecting the best platform to host your website. Hosting providers are companies that offer web hosting services. They have servers where you can store your website files. Some popular ones are GitHub Pages, great for static sites, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and free for public repositories. Netlify and Vercel, good for deploying static sites and front-end frameworks with easy integration. Bluehost, HostGator, and SiteGround offer hosting for dynamic websites, PHP, WordPress, and often include domain registration. Deploying a static website can be a straightforward and cost-effective process, especially when using a platform like GitHub Pages. Ideal for projects built with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, GitHub Pages allows you to publish your site directly from a GitHub repository at no cost. In this section, we'll walk you through the steps to deploy your static website using GitHub Pages, from creating a repository to making your site live on the web. Whether you're launching a personal blog, portfolio, or any other static site, this guide will help you get your project online quickly and efficiently. GitHub Pages is a service that lets you publish your static website directly from a GitHub repository. It's ideal for simple sites and free if you have a GitHub account. Steps: create a GitHub account. Sign up at GitHub. Create a repository. Make a new repository for your website files. Upload your files. Add your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files to the repository. Enable GitHub Pages. Go to your repository settings and select the branch to publish from. Your site will be available at https://username github.io/repository-. Deploying a dynamic website involves a few more steps than deploying a static site, but with the right hosting provider, it can be just as manageable. Whether your project is built with PHP, React, or other dynamic technologies, choosing a hosting provider that supports your tech stack is crucial for a smooth deployment. In this section, we'll guide you through the process of deploying a dynamic website using a hosting provider, from uploading your files to configuring your environment. By the end, you'll be ready to take your dynamic web application live, ensuring it runs efficiently on the server. For dynamic websites, which use PHP or React, you need a hosting provider that supports these technologies. These providers offer more features, including server-side scripting and databases. Steps: choose a hosting provider. Pick one that supports your technology stack, example, Bluehost for PHP or Vercel for React. Upload your files. Use the provider's dashboard or FTP, file transfer protocol, to upload your website files. Configure your site. Set up databases, environment variables, and other settings as required. Test your site. Make sure everything works correctly on the live server. Once your website is live, the work doesn't stop there. Proper maintenance is essential to ensure your site remains secure, performs well, and continues to engage visitors. In this section, we'll cover the best practices for maintaining your live website, including regular updates, backups, performance monitoring, content management, and SEO strategies. By following these guidelines, you'll keep your website running smoothly and effectively, providing a great experience for your users while protecting your investment. Keeping your website in good shape involves regular updates and checks. Security: keep your website software and dependencies updated to protect against vulnerabilities. Backups: regularly backup your website files and database to prevent data loss. Performance: monitor your site's performance and make optimizations to ensure fast loading times. Content updates: regularly update your content to keep your website relevant and engaging. SEO: continuously work on search engine optimization to improve your site's visibility in search engines. By understanding these key points, you'll be equipped to deploy and maintain your website effectively, ensuring it runs smoothly and remains accessible to visitors. That concludes our 12th and final video in the Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. We've covered deploying your website, including web hosting, domain registration, and deploying both static and dynamic sites. We also discussed best practices for maintaining your live site, such as security, backups, and SEO. As we wrap up this series, be sure to join us for the next video, where we'll recap all that we've covered and outline your next steps in web development. This final chapter will help you consolidate your knowledge and guide you on continuing your growth in this exciting field. We look forward to helping you advance your skills even further in our upcoming conclusion and next steps video. Welcome back, everyone. After an incredible journey through the world of web design and development, we've arrived at the final chapter of our series, Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch, brought to you by Easygolife. Over the course of 12 videos, we've taken you from the basics to building functional, responsive websites, empowering you with the skills needed to create your own web projects. Before we dive into the recap, I want to take a moment to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you, our viewers and subscribers. Your enthusiasm, feedback, and support have been instrumental in making this series a success. Thank you for generating so much interest in this journey. I hope that everything you've learned will be beneficial in your career and help you reach new heights as a web developer. In this concluding video, we'll recap all that you've learned, provide some valuable tips on what to do next, and guide you on how to continue growing as a web developer. Whether you're just getting started or already have some experience under your belt, this wrap-up will help you consolidate your knowledge and prepare for the next steps in your web development journey. So, let's dive in and make sure you're ready to take your newfound skills to the next level. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've been on. In this section, we'll revisit the key concepts and skills we've covered throughout the series. From the fundamentals of web development to the more advanced techniques, this recap will help you solidify your understanding and remind you of the essential tools and technologies you've learned. Whether you're reviewing for a refresher or just want to see how far you've come, this overview will tie it all together. Let's quickly review what we've covered in this video series. Introduction to web development. The basics and key technologies. HTML. How to structure your web pages. CSS. How to style and make your web pages look attractive. JavaScript. Adding interactivity to your websites. PHP. Server-side scripting for dynamic content. Bootstrap. A framework for building responsive websites quickly. React. A library for building dynamic user interfaces. APIs. Fetching and displaying data from external sources. Deployment. How to put your website live on the internet. With the knowledge and skills you've gained from this series, it's time to put them into practice. Building your own projects is the best way to reinforce what you've learned and gain hands-on experience. In this section, we'll encourage you to start creating real-world applications, whether it's a personal blog, a portfolio site, or a simple web app. Each project you undertake will deepen your understanding and enhance your abilities, helping you become a more confident and capable web developer. The best way to learn web development is by doing. Start building your own projects, even if they're small. Create a personal blog, a portfolio site, or a simple web app. Each project will help you understand and solidify your knowledge. Now that you've built a solid foundation in web development, it's time to continue your learning journey. To help you deepen your skills and stay up to date with the latest trends, we've compiled some valuable resources. Whether you're looking for structured online courses, comprehensive documentation, or supportive communities, these resources will guide you as you advance in your web development career. Here are some great places to continue learning. Online courses. Websites like Coursera, Udemy, and Codecademy offer structured courses on web development. Documentation. Official documentation like MDN Web Docs for HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, or the React and Bootstrap official docs provide detailed and reliable information. Communities. Join communities like Stack Overflow, Reddit's r/webdev, or web development Discord servers. These communities are great for asking questions, sharing knowledge, and staying updated on industry trends. As we wrap up this series, we hope you've gained valuable insights and skills in web development. But the journey doesn't end here. We're excited to continue guiding you with more advanced tutorials and in-depth topics. Subscribe to our channel to stay updated and be the first to access our upcoming content, where we'll dive into advanced frameworks, backend development, and much more. Let's keep learning and growing together. We hope you've found this series helpful and are excited about web development. To continue your learning journey, subscribe to our channel. We'll be covering more advanced topics in future tutorials, like advanced JavaScript frameworks, backend development, and more. By summarizing what you've learned, encouraging practical application, providing resources for further study, and inviting continued engagement, this conclusion sets you up for ongoing success in web development. Thank you for joining us on this amazing journey with Easygolife's Learn Website Designing and Development from Scratch series. We're thrilled to have guided you through the essentials of web development and shown you how to create your own responsive, functional websites. As we wrap up the series, remember that the world of web development is vast and full of opportunities. Keep building, Keep learning, and don't hesitate to explore new challenges. If you've enjoyed these tutorials and want to dive deeper into advanced topics, subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our future content. From all of us at Easygolife, thank you for being a part of this educational adventure. Keep us giving your valuable feedback commenting below, or you may write us at feedback@easygolife.com. We can't wait to see what you create next. Until then, happy coding and see you in our next series.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. For more exciting content on tech, inspiration, and lifestyle, make sure to subscribe and join our community. Got a topic you want us to cover? Drop a comment below and let us know.